So good morning. My name is Jack Hovenier. I'm the co-chair of the Incarceration, Prevention, and Reduction Task Force, also acting as the Law and Justice Council. This is a scheduled special meeting on Monday, July 26th, 2021 at 9 a.m. To start our agenda, I would like to read this land acknowledgement statement. So before we begin, we acknowledge that we are gathered on the traditional and unceded territory of the Lummi, Nooksack, Samish, and Semiahmoo people who have cared for and tended this land since time immemorial. Truth and acknowledgement are critical to building mutual respect and connection across all barriers of heritage and difference. We begin this effort to acknowledge what has been buried by honoring the truth. We pay respect to their elders, past and present, and please take a moment to consider the many legacies of violence, displacement, migration, and settlement that bring us together here today. And please join us in uncovering such truths at all public events. So welcome. How are we doing on quorum, Jill?
We're close. We need one more person.
All right. Well, that's
Scott Korthice will be, oh, he signed it now. Okay.
yeah. That is likely to occur, I would say. If not, we'll all be texting people very soon. Now that sounded like somebody disappearing, which we didn't need. So, yeah, I don't think we can do much business until we have quorum. So, Stephen, would you like to add any remarks while we're waiting?
I'll just say that I'm sorry I missed last week's meeting, and I did have a chance to watch the recording, and I very much appreciated the conversation, the debate, and the thoroughness of weighing the issues that you all did. I thought that was a really informative discussion and appreciated everybody's participation.
Okay. I would say now's about the time, if you know someone to text, to maybe get them here. I'm going to do that. It would be a good time to, oh, there's Darlene. That might. Does that get us over the top?
Still one more as one person left.
Okay.
I'll try to check down Perry Mowry. I think Perry was going to be a vote for Ann Deacon. Is Ann Deacon a voting person?
Yes, Jackie Mitchell should be attending. She's attending for Ann today.
Okay.
She should be here shortly.
Okay. Jill, I would assume we could actually proceed with discussion as long as we're not making the decision until we have quorum. Would that be correct?
Yes, that's correct. Raylene has her hand raised.
Yeah. Hey, Raylene. Oh, there's Debbie. Okay. Hi, Raylene.
Hi, that was an accident, sorry.
Oh, okay. All right. So before we get started, so hopefully you've all had a chance to see the letter. You had a chance to see what the sheriff offered. Sheriff, I just wanted to clarify something. Stephen and I were talking in the proposed amendment that you suggested. The way I interpreted that is, and I want to make sure this is your intent, you are asking in part that because this legislation appears to have had some unintended consequences, and I think we could use the word, I don't want to use ill-conceived, that's a poor choice of words, but because of timing and other things, there seem to be some challenges. You're also asking that it be kind of looked at holistically, that the heightened legal standards be reviewed to ensure that it accomplishes what they're trying to accomplish. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. And just the caveat, I'm not sure how much of this was unintended, because I think the legislative leadership at least had plenty of written comments and testimony as to what the effects would be from prosecutors and the association representing sheriffs and police chiefs from around the state, and municipal attorneys. So, yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah, you could well be online with that, but I appreciated you weren't asking for anything specific. You were asking that it just be looked at again. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think in the context of a letter,
Okay.
we couldn't go into all the what I see as flaws in the bill. Just
Right.
generally take another look at it.
Well, and that's why I'm asking you, because I suspect the idea of flaws in the bill will vary from individual to individual, but you aren't asking for anything specific. You're asking that it be looked at.
That's correct.
Okay. All right. Maya and then Dan.
I was reading Sheriff Alpha's remarks to object to the use of the civil standard. Was that not what you meant?
No, the shifting standard needed for investigative detentions or Terry stops, changing to probable cause. And the other thing I'm pointing at, probable cause to engage in a pursuit that a crime's been committed. That's really going to have a limiting effect on our ability to respond to crimes in progress and capture criminals.
So I'll say from the defense perspective, we support those changes, and I'm not interested in questioning the legislation's decision to require those higher standards.
We're wearing different hats, so I understand that.
I know, I just wanted I didn't send an email, and I want to say that I'm not interested in signing a letter that asks them to reconsider those heightened standards. I think those are actually critical and well considered. Thank you.
Okay. All right, Dan.
Do we know if there's any updates from the AG's office on guidelines?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. That was
July of 2022.
okay. There was some talk about a little bit of a rush on that with the AG's office. I thought there was going to be something that came out last week, but apparently not.
Okay. And Maya, was your hand up again? Great.
Thank you. Just in regard to the guidance by the AG, I don't know much about what they intend to provide, but something I'd like the group to be cognizant of is the policies that are adopted by different localities about the way body cams are used. We really, I think I'd like to encourage some feedback from the AG that requires some consistency there. I know that like the BPD policy and the new policies proposed or maybe even accepted and approved for our sheriff's office permit what's called muting for conference, which is not a policy that is by any means widely adopted. I think it makes those policies outliers. So I'd like to see some greater oversight about in the way that those policies are crafted and adopted. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So I think this might be one of those cases where and this is okay, where we don't have unanimity or consensus. We don't have to. Also, it's my understanding, and Stephen, you can correct me if I'm wrong, we're not asking, I think only one time in the history of the task force have we asked everybody to sign a letter. I don't even recall. I think that was about funding for the Crisis Stabilization Center. I could be wrong. But the only people I believe that'll be signing are Stephen and I on behalf of the task force. So, and certainly as we make a decision today, members will have the option to vote no, they'll have the option to abstain, or they can vote to approve. So, Jill, am I correct in that as far as you know about who's signing?
That's correct. Okay.
So because I did hear, I think it was Maya that said, I'm not comfortable signing, and I know the sheriff in his email said I'm not comfortable signing. So I want to clarify, you won't be asked to be to actually sign, but certainly you are part of the committee. But that is our process. So I think so typically what we would do in a parliamentary process is there would be a motion to approve a letter, and then if there is an amendment or a proposed amendment, which in this case we have, that amendment would be introduced. Then the amendment is dispensed or disposed of. Disposed is a strong word if it's approved, but you address the amendment first and then you go back to the main motion. So does anybody object to that process? So we'll make a motion to approve the letter. And then I think, Sheriff, I'm assuming you'd like the amendment to incorporate your comments, and we'll make a decision on that and then make a decision on the letter with or without the amendment, depending on how this body decides. Does that all sound okay? Anybody have an objection to that? Okay. Would someone like to make a motion to approve the letter?
I'll make the motion to approve the letter.
Thank you, Dan. Do we have a second?
EMS could second that. Mike Hilly here.
Okay. So the letter that's in your packet, we now have a motion to approve it and send it out on behalf of the committee. That motion has been made and seconded. Sheriff, did you want to make an amendment?
Yeah, I'd like to offer the amended language that was circulated by Jill in the email. We ask that you reconsider the heightened legal standards that will impede law enforcement in its efforts to prevent and investigate crime, apprehend criminals, and protect victims of crime and the community.
Okay, so the sheriff has made a motion to amend the letter by inserting that language. Would somebody like to speak against that?
Oh, I'd like to second it.
Oh, so I'm sorry. Oh, thank you. I need a second. Prosecutor Ritchie, thank you. I thank you for correcting me. I needed that. Okay, sorry, I was jumping ahead. Would somebody like to speak? We have a in favor. The sheriff has spoken in favor. Would somebody like to speak against it?
I think I expressed my concerns already, so I'll
Okay.
just ask that
Sure.
you.
Okay. Anyone else?
I just agree with the amendment. Just no.
Okay. Okay, so what I'm going to ask we do, I think Jill, oh, Jackie, your hand's up.
Yeah, I don't have the letter. It probably went to Anne, so I haven't even seen it.
Okay,
So I can just get it. I need a quick moment to take a look at it.
I will forward it to you, Jackie. Hold on.
And if I could go on record, I support what's in the letter, the content, but I can't support the letter unless this additional language is included.
Okay. All right. Is there any further discussion on the amendment? All right, so seeing none, Jill, I think on this one, we should do a roll call vote and people can vote yes, no, or abstention. And let's put Ann Deacon with proxy from Jackie at the end of this vote. So she has the maximum amount of time. And Jill, take the time you need to be ready to do a roll call. I know that this doesn't happen, and looking at Zoom is kind of a hard way to do it. So
Yes, thank you. I need to forward the letter to Jackie and then I'll take the roll call. If you can all just bear with me for a moment, please.
And this vote is on whether to accept the amendment, my amendment?
yes, it is. And I forwarded to Jackie as well. Okay.
Jack, I noticed a couple other people have come on in the last minute or so. Would you restate what the vote is about to be on?
Yeah, let's tell everybody where we are. So we had a motion to approve the letter. That motion was made and seconded. And then the sheriff has offered an amendment with the language that I think all of you hopefully have seen in your email. That motion was made and seconded, and we are now making a decision on whether to include the sheriff's proposed amendment into the main motion of approving the letter. So this vote would not be to approve the letter. This vote would be to approve the amendment as proposed by Sheriff Alfo and seconded by Prosecutor Ritchie.
Okay, thank you, everyone. If you could activate your cameras during the vote, that would be helpful. I'm going to call names, and if I miss you at the end, please just let me know. Barry Buchanan,
Yes.
Bill Elfo,
Yes.
Arlene Feld, Arlene, I'll come back to you. Stephen Gockley,
Abstain.
Dan Hamill.
Aye.
Deborah Hawley,
Abstain.
Mike Hillard,
Yes.
Jack Hovenier,
Yes.
Raylene King,
Yes.
Scott Cordice,
Yes.
Eric Peterson,
Abstain.
Darlene Peterson,
Abstain.
Dave Reynolds,
Abstain.
Eric Ritchie,
Yes.
Flo Simon,
Yes.
Bruce Van Glupt,
Abstain.
Mai Vanyo,
No.
Arlene Feld,
Yes.
Jackie Mitchell.
So I got the letter, I just didn't get the amendment yet. Can somebody just quickly tell me what the amendment was?
We ask that you reconsider the heightened legal standards that will impede law enforcement in its efforts to prevent and investigate crime, apprehend criminals, and protect victims of crime in the community.
Okay, yes. Thank you.
Have I missed anyone?
And can you tell us the results and the total?
Yes, we have 11 people in favor. That is not a majority, so the motion fails.
How many did we have voting?
18.
We aren't a simple majority.
Voting in favor requires a majority of the full task force, which would be 14.
Oh, okay. So it's not of who's here today.
Correct.
Okay, that I did not understand. I thought it would be of who was here today. Okay. That, because I thought it barely passed based on current quorum. So quorum is irrelevant. What is relevant is total task force participation, total task force membership.
Correct.
Got it. Okay, thank you. I didn't realize that. Okay. Okay. We will now, is there any discussion on the letter? Seeing none, we're going to do the same process for the letter. I think we'll do a roll call on that as well. So, and for everybody to understand, this would be voting on the letter as submitted in your packet without any other without any amendments to that letter. So just for clarification. So that amendment to insert the sheriff's language, as I think most of you understand, did not pass. So that is not to be included. And we're now voting on the letter itself.
Stephen Gockley,
Yes.
Dan Hamill,
Aye.
Deborah Hawley,
Yes.
Mike Hilly,
Yes.
Jack Hovenier,
Yes.
Raylene King,
Yes.
Scott Cordice,
No.
Eric Peterson,
Abstain.
Darlene Peterson,
Abstain.
Dave Reynolds,
Abstain.
Eric Ritchie,
Abstain.
Flo Simon,
No.
Bruce Van Glept,
Abstain.
Maya Vano,
No.
Barry Buchanan,
Yes.
Jackie Mitchell,
Yes.
Bill Elfo,
No.
Arlene Feld,
Yes.
have I missed anyone? All right, the motion received 9 votes in favor and does not pass.
Okay, so we will not be submitting any letter. And I don't believe we're allowed to do any other business here today.
Can you repeat that, Jack? I couldn't hear you.
Yeah, sorry about that, Bill. So we will not be sending any letter because the motion to send a letter has failed, or the motion to approve this letter has failed. So we will be taking no position on this. Okay, now we aren't allowed to do any other business, but I did see on the agenda, just a second, Scott, I'll get right to you. You wanted clarification, Jill, I think, on the ad hoc. So let me go to Mayor Cordice and then we will get to that. Scott, go ahead.
I probably should have asked this before, but procedurally, really, it is, we don't base it on the quorum. We base it on the full task force. I guess that's kind of unusual for a meeting to have. Is that in our,
I thought so too. I wasn't aware. I trust Jill implicitly, but it caught me off guard as well, Scott.
okay, it just, all the meetings we go to is typically you base it on the quorum that's there. That's what the vote is based on.
Exactly, but I'm going to trust in this
Okay.
case. Jill, we are sure of that?
Yes.
Okay, so it must be,
All right.
it must be a county thing, but all my experience with Roberts and most other things is typically it's based on the quorum present, but I'm going to stand aside on this because I'm probably wrong. Dan?
Yeah, I'm really disappointed today that we will not have a voice in Olympia, that this group will not have a voice to our state reps on something that's so vitally important. The call loads that are shifting over to fire are immense, and as of yesterday, we really don't have a response for citizens in Bellingham when they themselves are experiencing a mental health or behavioral health issue, or they see someone on the street that is, we have nothing. So I guess I'll try to do something with the city council to get a version of this letter. I don't know how I'm going to do that today, but we do meet this afternoon. They're actually meeting right now in the Public Works Committee. But I feel like we have to have a voice in Olympia. Privately, I've got business partners that have met with over the phone some of our representatives, and it appears as if there's not a complete understanding about the repercussions of all these pieces of legislation. And to me, that's really disappointing. So I just want to go on the record, letting folks know where I'm at with that, and that I'm going to try to make something happen in City Council.
And I would point out, and we're not going to have too much comment because we've got to end here pretty quickly. But I do want to point out, Jill, are there 28 task force members total, or 27?
Give me a moment and I'll
Okay.
count.
Anyway, there's a lot more than we have here, is my point. And she'll give us an exact count in a minute. But you've got, 8 or 9 or 10 people that aren't even here. And I apologize. I don't know if Stephen or I wasn't aware. We needed to ensure 14 people were here in support of. And I've noticed, I don't want to assume why people are abstaining, but I do assume in some cases people are abstaining because of the positions they hold. There are judicial people that abstain for that reasons and other reasons. So I'm not sure if the whole task force were here, if what this vote today happened reflected absolutely that conscience, because we don't have everybody here. And I'm not sure all the abstentions, it's something to think about if we get into a critical thing, that abstentions are effectively a no vote. And there will be people, I know that we've had judges here and other people that say, I have to abstain on these things. So it's something to think about for the future. And I share, Dan, your disappointment that we couldn't make a decision, but in the 5 or 6 years we've done this is the first time it's happened. And that's a reality. That's just where we are. Relene and Arlene.
With the ad hoc committee and people not passing this, there's no reason we can't still vocalize what the impacts are going to be to others, and to share people the information on who your legislatures are and how to get information out if they're concerned or changes need to be made. It's not a complete fail that we didn't approve this. It's just, if things need to be changed, then the public needs to be informed and they need to know how to contact their legislatures to make those changes happen. Going to come from this group.
Okay, Arlene, and then we need to end the comments.
Well, I was going to make the same point that Raylene did. So there's nothing that holds us from making our opinions to our representatives as individuals, right? There's no reason why we cannot do that.
Thank you. Okay, let's, Jill, let's move on to the ad hoc portion.
Yes, thank you. At the last meeting, there was a motion to form an ad hoc committee to work on these issues. And if anyone would like to serve on that ad hoc committee, if you could indicate by raising your hand, that would be really helpful to me. Thank you. Okay, I have Raylene and Dan Hamill. And if any of you decide you would like to participate, please just email me. Thank you.
All right, thank you, everyone. I wish we had more time. I think if we did, we could probably find some language that everybody could live with, but the reality is we are where we are. And I would encourage everyone to exercise your ability to influence our lawmakers and decision makers. I don't think anybody listening to this believes this is a problem that is anywhere close to solved. So thank you for being here today. Stephen and I appreciate it. Stephen, you want to say anything?
Sheriff, do you have your hand up? Did you have one last comment?
No, I think Jack summarized it, so that's fine. I'll withdraw it.
No, I don't. Thanks, everyone. I'll just weigh in that I was as surprised as Jack and Scott by our voting process. So we probably could have pulled a better group together.
Yeah, and that's kind of on us as chairs. We should have checked with Jill. If I knew we needed 14 or 15 in the affirmative, I would have said that, and we know for next time. So I guess the good news is in 5 years, 6 years, we haven't needed it. So you know, that speaks well to the high functioning nature of this group. So thanks, everyone. Have a great week. Enjoy the Whatcom County weather. It's as good as it's going to get, and have a great week. Thank you.
Jack and Stephen, if you could stay behind, that would be helpful. Thank you.
Yep, and we are adjourned.